Assalamu alaikum. I'm Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib. I wanted to bring my love and joy and support to Islamic Relief during this Ramadan season. Ramadan Mubarak to all of you.
Let us salute Islamic Relief USA for living up to the calling of this holy month, helping local organizations, providing food security, health care, and financial assistance to struggling communities and resettled refugees.
Our Muslim American community has been on the front lines in Florida's 9th Congressional District and other areas of the nation to help us recover.
I'm grateful for all the work they are doing in my district and around the world.
Islamic Relief USA is constantly working together for a better world.
Your charitable efforts to help reduce hunger, educate refugees, and assist survivors of domestic abuse embody the noble values that are honored in Ramadan.
Your work to put the Muslim values of community and charity into action has helped not only provide food, but also healthcare, financial assistance, and many more hit hardest by this pandemic.
Islamic Relief USA and the Muslim American community in my district have lived those values to the fullest these last 2 years.
Thank you to Islamic Relief USA for the work you do to lift the voices of Muslims all around the world.
As we continue to fight for a more just and more tolerant world, I am honored to be your partner in Congress.
It's this community care that binds us as a global human family.
We are better for all that you have contributed and the difference that you make.
I wish you and all of my Muslim brothers and sisters a blessed month of peace and spiritual renewal.
May peace and love be brought upon you. Ramadan Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. I'm Preacher Moss, host of the SOS show. Hope that you are having a fabulous day. Listen, let's just throw this out here. First of all, I want to give a shout out to Sister Satana. She will not be on the set today. She's actually hosting or assisting an iftar for Muslim elders in New Jersey, Central Jersey. I am very proud of her for doing that. And I wish I could actually be there and helping and assisting. That is so important. That's number one. Number two is today's conversation is going to be a little bit different, if you will, because I'm going to take a bit of an aggressive stance in the context of what is happening to the whole idea of being human beings. And part of it, brothers and sisters, is probably going to be funny because, I'm a little frustrated. Sometimes when I'm frustrated, it comes out through humor. But it seems to me lately that nobody seems to really give a darn about anybody else. Today's topic is, are we worshiping idols? That's what I call it, worshiping idols. Like, we talk about the propensity to understand higher power, but when you don't understand that higher power, what is it that you're looking to? What is it that you are framing yourself on? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it knowledge? Is it power? Is it sex? I don't know what it is, because every week it seems like it's something different. I personally am absolutely exhausted from hearing about coverage of Ukraine and Russia and Ukraine. Neither one of them like black folk, but it's in my face every day. And I understand that people are suffering, yes, but I see people suffering here around me all the time. They get no television coverage. Nobody's writing exposés around them. People from CNN are not showing up and embedding themselves in their pain and misery. Somehow we're special. Somehow we have to sit here and take this over and over and over and over again. And the weak mind bends down to the temple of CNN or the temple of Fox News or the temple of MSNBC or the temple of CNNBC. And we allow ourselves in some regards, in not a mainstream way, but we do worship it because we look for it from our information. We believe what people say. I have a phone, brothers and sisters. I can literally spend 2 to 3 hours on here just watching articles on a feed, if you will. When I mean a feed, some stories are real, some stories are not real, some stories are advertisements. I'm like, this is what it is. We're in the age of misdirection, and misdirection, brothers and sisters, is a focal point of worship. When people want you to put your investment and your core values into something else, I call it worshiping idols. We have a book We have 3. You have the Torah. You have the Quran. You have the Bible. You have the Hadith. You have all these books about higher understanding and existence. And today, brothers and sisters, we find ourselves not being able to apply them to our lives now, and more importantly, provide a model for the people that come behind us. I'm worried that the whole scope of religiosity is somehow going to be put into, sadly, a reality show where we pick and choose what realities we want to give people. And unfortunately, we have been complicit. I'm a comedian. The entertainment business is 100% complicit. Whatever it is that's going on, if you think it can net you the bag, that's what you do it with. Hear what I'm saying? I haven't been out on stage, but I'm gonna tell you this. I can tell you there's 1,000,001 comics talking about Will Smith slapping Chris Rock because that's the joke that they think that the people are going to like. And it's not a joke, but this is a focal point of pain and misguided aggression, but somehow it's been framed as entertainment. I do agree with the old saying that, the road to hell is paved with entertainment and good intentions. But here, brothers and sisters, my question is, why? Why are we putting all of our energy in all of these things that will give us nothing, that will yield us nothing? The NBA championships, the NBA playoffs are coming up, and I know, because I keep it real, I'll be yelling at the TV, yelling at the Knicks, yelling at the Bucks, but I actually have no relationship with them financially, personally. There's no fiduciary responsibility from me to them or them to me. But somehow I will create for 4 hours a relationship whereby we can be in a space, and I feel like somehow I'm contributing something to them. What's the scope of a fan? You know what the hell a fan is. A fan is a follower. That's what it is. A fan is a follower. And in the age of social media, we have tons and tons and tons of followers. That's what it is, brothers and sisters. You know who doesn't have a social media page? God. None of the prophets have an IG page. They don't have Facebook. They never had Twitter. And the reason is their scope was not about themselves. It was bringing out to the masses that this is where you need to be placing your devotion and worship. This is a thing that's going to impeccably increase your character and give you what I would like to say, grounding. I was recently on stage and I was doing my set and I looked out at the people and they were empty. They were empty. And they were empty because all they were there for was the entertainment. We have Muslim comedy shows, but these comedy shows oftentimes are just like any other comedy show. We just put Muslim in front of it. And people come there and we support Muslim comedy, but are you supporting this deen? Are you supporting this deen? So when the lights are off, are you doing the thing that strengthen, hear me now, strengthen this community under the auspices of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That is my question. And over and over and over and over again, it becomes a joke. If I see one more comedian I have a comedy special, but you get up there and you cuss the whole time, you're not representing what the struggle is. You're not representing what the grind is for everyone else who will never be on that stage, who will never have a chance to perform and will never have a platform. And this is what we're turning in. Most of the Muslim communities I know, a lot of them, they bow down to Hollywood because they want to be famous. They want to be rich. They want to get the bag. And I'm not against that. But damn, don't sell your soul. You don't have to sell your soul. Trust me, I learned it. And as this journey continues and we find ourselves in the month of Ramadan, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that efficiently and more importantly, the efficacy that we're going to have to make ourselves better? We're going to be talking about that here on the Shout Out Show. Listen, you guys have been great. We'll be right back.
Sponsor an orphan, and you'll help support a vulnerable child to have the education they've always dreamed of, so they can build a brighter future. you'll be feeding a hungry stomach and a hungry mind with knowledge that will last them a lifetime. That's the power of an education. Sponsor an orphan now with Islamic Relief.
All right, we're back. Listen, I want to make sure that I include and make sure I highlight the Shout Out Show family, my Shout Out Show soldiers who have been so patient with me. Because normally in the first segment, I bring it up, but we went a little bit long in the monologue. I hope you guys don't mind. So first of all, I want to bring into the queue my main man, Altar Rashid, better known as Mr. 6 o'clock, straight up, straight down. What's going on, brother? I hope you liked that song, Ramadan in Toronto yesterday. I picked that just for you, sir. I thought you might appreciate that. As well, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Ramadan Mubarak. This is why I like the Shout Out Show and the Shout Out Show family. Because every day it's a different day, but everybody puts out the same resolve, the same type of consistency. Meaning that when you get to the show, I'm appreciative that you've gone through a process to get here. Now, whether the show is good or great, in between or lousy, it is that people have a discipline and they stop when they get here. Much appreciated. So I'm going to give a shout out to you. I want to give a shout out to my main man here, Brother Yusuf Abdul Jalil, who is doing some incredible stuff with 3D graphics and I can't even remember. I can't even tell you what the equipment is, but the oculars or whatever it is, doing some really, really creative stuff. And we hope to put that on the show here, have him talk about it, inshallah, soon. Thank you, brother. I appreciate all of you. Yeah, I am in everybody's face. And some people like it, some people don't like it. But you know what? I'm not in that spot. All right. Oh, I got my cousin here. Got to shout him out. This is my cousin, Donald Foster. You guys remember when I lost my cousin, Donald Foster Sr. This is his son, carrying on tradition, being a good father, being a good husband. And, we still, that's still an L for you, brother. That was a tough loss to process, but, I'm getting there. Lil Don, good to see you out. Want to give a shout out, of course, to Sister Ree. She says, hello, family. Hello to you, Sister Ree. Hope everything's going well with you, Brother Derek, and, of course, Brother Juwan. And, peace and blessings to everybody. I had a good time last night. I got to hang out with the Chappelle family yesterday in Ohio. Had a great iftar. And, it was really, really cool. It was just seeing people. They had the little baby there. And it's just seeing people just really smiling and enjoying, praying together, all of that. I thought it was just amazing. Just to have a room full of Muslims and just diverse, but just thankful, man. Just really 100% thankful. All right, I'm going to give a shout out to my main man, Bilal Salahuddin, and his queen, Sister Sonia Dalton. Salahuddin, brother, good to see you, man. I have not forgotten. I have your resume. I've gone through it. I have not forgotten, brother. Just give me a little show me a little patience, because I'm trying to do a few things, and I have a heavy tour schedule through really the second week of May. But we will talk. So let me get to this thing. So are we still worshiping idols? That's the title. I meant to put that on the banner. But the reason I didn't put it on the banner, because it does tie into this particular Jews 13 out of Quran. This is out of Sir Yusuf. You know what's interesting? The story of Joseph is the story of envy. But it's a different kind of envy. It's an envy whereby it's self-defining. Like the person who is envious of you, that's one position, that's one thought process. But the person who has to endure the envy, that's a very ephemeral thing. Like I was talking to a good friend of mine. We talk about the aspects of the self. Like yesterday, I talked about how as human beings, as spiritual human beings, we have to, in some regards, accept our position in life. I mean, I'm not saying settle. I said accept, not settle, accept. And settling is something different, but accepting that this is where I am, and that gives you a bedrock to see where you want to go. Settling means I'm here, I'm just going to stay here. Accepting that, meaning that, whatever it is, and we've used the term before, tawakkul, which is whatever it is that I'm going through, I have trust in my maker that it's for a good purpose. I don't know what the result is going to be, but I know that it's going to be something in my best interest. And you let go of stuff. In the book Futar gave, which is Revelation of the Unseen, they have a term called fana. And the term fana means like self-annihilation. Really, it's not you're beating yourself up, but you begin to deconstruct aspects of your animal self, right? So if you were alcoholic, you say, well, if I'm looking at it like a first principle, I've realized that alcohol is a problem, or drug user, or sex addict, or whatever. You begin to understand that these are the things that cause me a lot of the problems that I'm dealing with. But it's interesting because once you get to that, you can fully accept where you are, and you can be in the reconstruct yourself if you will. You can be be a conduit for new things. You know, a lot of times in the conversion experience, that's what people go through. You get to a part, I want to say a station in life. Some people say it's rock bottom. Some people don't get to rock bottom. They just have awareness and clarity. And what they find is I'm able to do these things. You know, and talking to guys who go to prison a lot of times, they say, you know, man, when there's a time I'll be in prison, I'll go through this whole chain of events, my emotions, and then I'll get to a point of clarity going, wait a minute, this is what I need to do. If I have a chance to get out of here, this is what I need to do to get out of here. And when they come out, a lot of them hold to those principles. In Jews 13, what's interesting is you have the story of Joseph. Now, Joseph's brothers are, of course, jealous of him. He's the father's favorite. So on this road to Egypt, if you will, they decide, well, we're going to get rid of Joseph, and they throw him in a hole. They throw him in a hole, and then they leave him to be sold to somebody, sold into slavery. And the killer part is they go back to their father and they tell their father, hey, something happened. He was killed, and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And the story unfolds that faith. Now, there's levels to faith, but this is faith of obedience. And I talked to you guys about this before when we talked about Jews 4. Faith without obedience is usually chaos. Because these boys had faith, but there's no obedience. So they would do these acts, if you will. And so here's a guy that goes through all these trials and tribulations. He has these dreams, and these dreams take him to the point where he's an advisor to the king. But these dreams also manifest that he knew the jealousy of his brothers. He knew the jealousy of his brothers. And as time passed, the brothers came back towards where he was, and they couldn't recognize him because now he was no longer a slave. He was an official, a highly appointed official. And he asked him questions about his father, who he hadn't seen, that they had denied him access to his father. And through these guys, they asked him, and he eventually tells them, I'm your brother Joseph. But what does that mean, brothers and sisters? It literally means, in my estimation, my humble estimation, that the discipline of quotients of being able to attach ourselves to religious foundation, attach ourselves to just moral conviction, or attach ourselves to just the feeling of doing the right thing is overwhelming. You know, what I find these days, and anybody can correct me, is the fact that there's so much attention paid to people not doing the right thing. We are fascinated with people who don't do the right thing. And I say that because they lead us on these spaces where, for lack of a better word, here we are worshiping idols. The president of the United States is Joe Biden. He's not God. Putin leads Russia, but he's not God. But look how much energy that we put into these people. The economy is the economy. You think that a bad economy has never happened before, or a good economy has not happened before? Or money was available, or money was not available. Because as a first principle, what do you say? It's either going to be there or it's not going to be there. And based off of that, you will make your decisions and you will customize and I would say adapt your behavior accordingly. Over and over and over, though, we lend ourselves to people who are not experts. The latest example was COVID. If you watch the timeline of COVID, and you here in the United States, you look at the timeline of COVID in other places like Australia, they did not suffer. They didn't suffer. They had deaths, but not like the United States. We're over 1 million. And you know why we're over 1 million, brothers and sisters? In my humble opinion, it's the fact that people in a plague, in a pandemic, want to play God. So we make the scientists the idols. We make the politicians the idols. And over they let us down because they're not that. I had a good friend, I talked to him about the NFL. And we were talking about the NFL. Where NFL is very much about worshiping idols, your favorite teams and things like that. But I asked him, I said, what about social causes? And in a very straight face, he said, nobody cares about social causes at the NFL. He said, they have so much money. Listen to what I'm saying. He said, the NFL has so much money, they can afford to make multi-million-dollar mistakes. Why? Because the good people that protest in front of the stadium, it might be 300 of them. That's a good sized protest. But on the day of the game, 80,000 people come to see that game play. Now, who's fooling who? Who has the gravitas? The 80,000 people seeing the game or the 300 people who protest? They don't even have anyone to watch their protests. And therein lies the rub. How do we flip this and make it something whereby we are pointing ourselves and pointing people in our vicinity to the right things? Now, I didn't put Islam there or Christian. I'm just talking about the basic human understanding of good. You know, wherever you get your good from, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Hinduism, Buddhism, wherever you get your good from, there is a parallel that has to be acknowledged. And that parallel has to be acknowledged that we visit good like it's visited on us. Good favor and blessings are visited on us. And as a part of that chain of transmission, we visit among other people. Now, in the converse, we don't visit evil on other people unless somebody is visiting. And even then, the person that's self-aware, we will deal with that pain and that suffering. Just like Yusuf in Jews 13, he dealt with the pain and suffering. He dealt with people lying with him. He dealt with people throwing him in a hole. He dealt with people who were saying he was dead and he wasn't dead. And in that space, the conviction, and maybe that's the thing, the conviction is what's missing. So look, we're going to take a quick break. I'll be back. Sultana is usually here, but I had to run over. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Shout out to Islamic Relief, of course, and shout out to Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. We'll be right back.
Hey, babies. Welcome to Radio WCUC, Convenient Urgent Care, home of the smart patient. This is DJ What It Do. You know what time it is. It's the top of the hour, and the request lines are open. You know what you want to hear. I know what you want to hear. Operators are waiting.
I just got to hear Don't Get the COVID.
Don't get the COVID. Put your mask back on. The Delta COVID, more contagious than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get the vaccine. You know that it can keep you safe, and your people living up in your space. Don't get the COVID. You need to wash your hands. The Delta COVID is more deadly than before. Don't get the COVID. Go on and get your vaccine. You know that it can keep you from dying. Don't leave your family all alone and crying. Don't get the COVID.
We invite you to join our fight against COVID and against misinformation. It's time to listen to the doctors and trust the science.
When I think of people dying that don't have to die, it makes me sad. Now's the time to be sober. Together we can make this thing over. Let's fight the COVID. Convenient urgent care, home of the smart patient.
All right, we're back, everybody. I want to give a shout out. We have our special guest, Brother Nader Khan. He is a Nasheed out of Toronto, Ontario, a beautiful brother. He's going to come here and maybe we'll get him to do something live on air. We've been hosting or trying to highlight some of his videos as we move into our Saturday spotlight. Again, a shout out for convenienturgentcare.com, Olive Branch Muslim Family Services, and as well, we want to make sure that we are shouting out Islamic Relief. Also, I want to make sure that we put some love out there for some of our long-term supporters. That would be BeFinancialIndependent.com. Again, that's BeFinancialIndependent.com at 202-508-3780. Again, that's 202-508-3780. I think that's right. And want to give a shout out, of course, to ushub.tv. And shout out to, we haven't done it in a while, but Bayan Islamic Graduate College, and of course, like I said, Convenient Urgent Care. So I see your thing. Thank you, brother. I actually started on that Saturday, so I'm on Jews 12. But Jews 12 and 13 do cover the aspect, the use of 12 covered HUD, and I talked about that yesterday, which was actually a pretty good conversation. So listen, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, but I just want everybody to think about this word, because we're talking about have people gone to worshiping idols? I heard this on an interview between Stevie Wonder and Oprah Winfrey, and they said one of the words that's missing in the context of communication and rational thought is the word discernment. And the word discernment means the ability to judge well. Now, in the Christian, it means perception and absence of judgment to view. With a view to obtaining spiritual guidance and understanding. We'll talk about both of those tomorrow, inshallah. But I'm just thinking about the whole idea of discernment. Are we missing that? As much as I'm on a rant and a rave, are we missing that? That people do not have the ability to judge well anymore. Are we impaired? Just a thought. Okay, so listen, let me get out of here. I'm going to treat you guys to a video, another video by Nader Khan called Love Always Works. And this is really a special song. I don't know how many of you knew Ustad Usama Cannon. I don't know why I keep saying Cannon. Usama Cannon, a really well-respected and highly regarded and loved religious scholar who left us way too soon. But he actually wrote the lyrics to this, so we're going to play it on our way out. So thank you guys in advance. If there's anything that I said that you disagree with, I'm always open to hear comments. You can go to permissibelaughter@gmail.com. If there's anything I said out of pocket that was a mistake, that's on me. If there's anything that was beneficial, all praise due to Allah. I'm out of here. Take care and enjoy. Nader Khan's Love Always Works.
Hum da dum da da dum da da dum da dum da da dum da da dum da dum da da dum da da dum dum da dum da da dum da dum da do 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 dum da dum da da dum da da dum da da dum da dum da da dum da da dum dum da dum. You captured me. You stole my heart. Oh, your gentle words, your smiling arm. Oh, we came to dream. Oh, we live to act. We live and die. Oh, upon this path. Won't be left to do happy. He resides, within our chests. Oh, to do the love always works. 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 Don't you see that he wanted this? To do the he made it be, yeah. He opened hearts to finally see his light and his love is inside us all. To do this here is the path. This here is the lover's call. Oh, do the love always works. To do the love always works. To do the love always works. To do the love always works. Don't you know that love always works? Oh, it's all about love. All you need is love. Ain't nothing but love.